Maya Angelou said, nothing will work unless you do. Bossing up all day, every day. It's a way of life, not for show, but for show. Who wanna grind with me? Let's go get it. The world is ours.
All right, so that's my theme music, you know, because every superhero has a little theme music. Thank you. That's the song I like. It's truly motivation for me. I use it when I'm working out or when I'm just hustling. Stick man, dead press, so focused. The lyrics are awesome. Check it out. So today's workshop, though, it's going to be kind of an interactive opportunity for you to dive into your own financial goals and your own financial business. I'm no financial expert. I'm no scientist. I'm no mathematician. I'm just a guy who kind of went his whole life not taking care of his finances, and then one day kind of woke up and said, I'm going to take this serious. And so I'm going to share the tips and things that have worked for me in order to gain what I call financial freedom and basically attain a peace of mind. So I called this workshop Giant Steps Towards Financial Freedom. All of us are in different places. All of us have different stories. All of us come from different walks. All of us have different bank accounts. It's just how it is. Your road may be different. Your path may be different. You might have different tips. Please, today is an opportunity to throw those things out. I'm going to be pointing out and calling on a few of you to help me with today's presentation, so it's not just me talking. And then hopefully you guys can engage as well, and we can have a good conversation to kind of wrap things up. Giant Steps Towards Financial Freedom. That's me, by the way.
I know, I like that.
All right. So the first things first. We got to get serious. We got to start taking this serious. Just as serious as we would anything else. Just as serious as you take going to work every day for someone else. And where that starts is self-evaluation. I look in the mirror. Why I am the way I am? Why am I in this financial situation? Why am I always living check to check? Why do I never have anything in my savings account? For me, this was hard because I never was taught financial etiquette. And so I always had the excuse to myself, I deserved it, or I'll get it back in terms of spending money and doing nice things for yourself. So in self-evaluation, I find the first thing to do, define financial freedom. And so that's what we're going to do amongst ourselves. In your notes is, as we're talking, what is your idea of financial freedom? Because it's all different for different people. And I'll tell you mine after we discuss everyone else's, because I don't want to influence yours. This is your first task. What is your idea of financial freedom? What's your financial goal? Because if you aren't setting goals, you aren't setting yourself up to win. What's your financial goal? What is keeping your goal, keeping you from reaching your goal? And don't bullshit yourself. Be honest. What is keeping you from reaching that goal? That goal that you keep thinking about at night and is keeping you up. And next we're going to talk about personal and family business budgets. Have you even built yourself a budget, a personal budget, a business budget? And my next thing we're going to talk about throughout this whole thing is, what is your why? Why are you doing this? Because if you don't have a why, you probably need to start there.
Durant scared me because when Durant score, he don't say nothing. He ain't getting nobody excited. He ain't trying to get LeBron pissed off or pumped up. He just score on my man and shh. Only thing he does at the end of the game, he kiss his mama, he hug his brothers. All right, I'm out. Game over. Shh. But the one thing he does, I don't know if you watched it, the first thing he does when he gets on the court is he does what? Y'all better start watching these games, bro, because you're going to need to do what these champions doing if you're going to be a champion. The first thing he does is what with them numbers? Touch them numbers on the front. He touched them numbers on the back. And he's doing that for who? Which coach? His coach that was killed. His coach died at what age? And he wears what number? He got a Y. He got a Y. He ain't just playing for no championship. He not. You got to hear what I'm telling you. If y'all going to be great on that field, you got to have a why. You gotta have a reason for why you do what you do. When he comes out, he ain't tripping on LeBron. He don't care nothing about no Dwayne Wade. All he keep thinking about is, I'm gonna get one for my coach. That's why he ain't all smiling, because why? He's not smiling because what he's trying to accomplish, he has not what? He ain't got it yet. He ain't geeked about winning no game. He not geeked about beating San Antonio. He not tripping because they up one game. That boy, you ain't gonna see that boy smile until he get the championship, and when he get it, he gonna hold up. The problem with some of y'all, the reason why you don't give 120% every doggone time you get on the field, because you ain't got a why for what you do. You ain't got a why. I walk in the room, I can see some of y'all. I spoke to all of y'all when y'all came in for the most part. Why? Because I'm looking in your eyes, and I see some of y'all, and you ain't serious. And you think you about to go out there with the Ray Lewises of the world? Negro, please, when Ray come out, you see the passion. Every game, you see the energy. He come out every game like, y'all follow me. Follow my lead, baby, and we gonna win this thing. What's your why? If I don't give y'all nothing else, you better start that. What's your why?
So he's talking about Kevin Durant. Y'all know Kevin Durant, right? Yeah. I'll share with y'all some of the links so y'all can keep watching that if you want. So starting there, what is your why? I had to decide what my why was. For me, my why was my daughter. I realized I have this little girl, she's gonna be growing up. She's gonna need to go to school. If something happens to me, is she gonna be okay? So that was my driving force. Your second assignment is to define what is your why. Moving back to the first, does anyone want to share their definition of financial freedom?
Yeah, I said it's releasing the anxiety that comes along, like that comes with money for me. Like I'm always like super anxious when is my next source of income coming from, like where is this coming from? Mm-hmm. And then also just like not operating from a mindset of lack, because I'm always like, oh dang, I don't have enough for this, before I even get a chance to say like, okay, what do I need to do to budget this out so that I can be prepared for this bill or this thing.
Gotcha. Anybody else?
To me, financial freedom is just being able to provide stability in anything that you want to do and still be able to live how you want to.
Okay. Nice. For me, financial freedom is being able to walk in a store and buy something without thinking about where it's going to come from. Financial freedom for me is knowing that if an emergency comes, it won't be a financial emergency too. The ease and peace of mind of just having that safety net, but also having your money growing in a place where you can be happy. Definitely haven't reached it yet, but we're defining it, and that's the first step. And you're asking yourself, are you for real? Because if you're not for real, you might as well lead a workshop. You're not gonna get nothing from this. Are you serious about changing your financial future? Are you willing to put the priority you put to yourself and your financial business the same way you put it to another person when they send you out for a job and they're paying you? Are you willing to wake up and do it? Are you willing to sacrifice to get it? Sacrifices can come big, sacrifices can come small. When I was rerouting my financial direction, one of the things I had to sacrifice, it'd probably be funny, y'all, it's Arizona iced tea, right? You wouldn't think an Arizona iced tea could really be financially harmful to your pockets until you realize you're buying 2 of them a day, they're $1 a piece, and every year you're spending hundreds on Arizona iced tea because you're buying 2 a day because it's your favorite drink. Some people it's Fiji. Some people it's Starbucks cappuccino. All right? You start to think about how these things are not only detriments to your body, but detriments to your pocket. What are you willing to sacrifice in your own life now so that it can be greater later? So when you do attain financial freedom, it won't be so hard to have these luxuries you like. You won't have to think twice about them. Asking yourself, when you define financial freedom, how will money change your life? Because if your life's great right now and everything's moving smooth, what do you need to focus on money for? But if things are missing and you need financial improvement, ask yourself specifically, how will this money change your life? Are you just gonna waste it, spend it on frivolous things? Are you gonna invest it? Will you save it? Will you lose it? and how bad do you want it? So I don't consider myself a capitalist. I'm just someone who lives in a capitalist society. And I understand how money kind of works from a small hustler perspective to a more corporate perspective. Gene, you want to read that out for me out loud?
We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them.
We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them.
We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. How many of y'all been broke? Flat fucking broke. Right? Right. There's nothing to be ashamed of because we all been there. And you think about those things that led you to that point, and you think about where you're trying to go. And I carry this quote with me. Einstein probably didn't write it. But I'm just saying the message I carry with me so that you learn to not only embrace your mistakes, but learn from them. And make sure going ahead, you're not making those same mistakes. This is about changing mentality. This is about you looking at yourself and deciding if you want to keep looking at your financial future as just a game, or you want to take it seriously and start to make different changes to change your financial future. And I'll give you guys some tools in this workshop to help you with that. So for our financial goal, and we're all going to set a financial goal. So that's your third thing you're going to be doing here today. Dream big, but be realistic. All right? What does that mean for any of you? Dream big, but be realistic. Anybody want to expand? What does that mean for you?
For me, it's set goals, but realistic goals. So if I don't make it, so if I can't sit here and say, like, I'm going to make $1 million this year, knowing I'm not putting in the work or investing the time or whatever that needs to be done. Instead, like, I'm going to set aside $1,000 this year is more realistic.
Much more realistic and possible and doable, and you're not setting yourself up to fail. All right? Setting goals that are reachable using your income. So you're going to look at your income now, what you're making, and you're going to set some goals based around your income now. When you dream big, you can surpass your income, right? You can think about, oh, I'm bringing in streams of this way, but those aren't really there yet. So we're going to focus on what's there. Be specific. Give yourself a number to reach. Once we go through our budgets and expenses individually, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to give yourself a number. For me, my initial goal was $10,000 in the bank. I wanted $10,000 saving, and I was going to do whatever it take, how long it take, every day to get that $10,000 in saving. Also, another motivator for me, one day I got up in the morning and I looked on Twitter, and I go to my Twitter, and I got 26,000 tweets. Me on my page, right? 26,000 tweets. And I asked myself, damn, I ain't got 5,000 in the bank. Twitter ain't paying me. Twitter ain't giving me no money. I haven't even found a way to monetize my Twitter yet. I don't even got a product to sell on Twitter yet. Why do I got 26,000 fucking tweets and no money in the bank? Because I'm not prioritizing my time. I'm not maximizing the resources I have. I'm basically one of the sheep in the system. I'm a consumer. So I set numbers to reach, and I use those numbers. For me, numbers help because I can see it. I can see my savings account grow. I can see what I spent last month. And I use those numbers like a person does in video games when they're playing a game and they're trying to reach that goal. Financial planning begins with goal setting. It's the most important thing of the whole process, especially when you're trying to get out the gutter, out the mud. It's the most important thing because these goals are going to give you reinforcement that you're on the right track, that you're doing the right thing. Whatever the goal is, start today because if you start tomorrow, you're just taking a little longer to get to it. And I think that's the most important part. Whatever goal in life or health or financial freedom, start today. We always say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. We always say, I'm going to do it when I get this. Or I'm waiting for Amazon to send me this, and then I'm going to do my podcast. Or I'm waiting for this to do this, right? How many of y'all know people who do that? How many of y'all are those people? It happens, right? What we speak into the world is kind of how we act. And I'm going to show you a video about that right after this. How you will accumulate more savings by the time you need it. So what that means is if you start today and you need something, you've already started to get it, right? It's logical, it's simple, kind of makes you wonder, but you will accumulate more savings by the time you need it if you start today. General goals are good, but specific goals encourage results. And so we can have a general goal and say, you know what, I want to be straight. I just want to be financially straight. It's too general. You're going to have to get more specific about what you want. You're going to have to look at the numbers and say, I want to save $500 extra a month. I want to invest $300 a month. I want to pull in another extra $1,000 of side hustle income a month and decide how you're going to reach your financial goal, because generic goals won't get you there. So for instance, specific goal, giving me numbers. My new goal for 2021 is I want to have $50,000 in the bank by 2021. That's my personal goal. All right? It's giving me a number. It's giving me a time to reach. I'm able to quantify it, and I'm able to give myself a deadline. It's important. We're humans. We got to hold ourselves accountable. Nobody else is gonna. You're your own banker. You're your own financial consultant. You're your own financial manager. Nobody else is gonna do it. So you got to do it. And I'll show you some easy ways to do it as well. I want to play another video for you guys. Some of you may have seen it, and some of you may already understand the concept. I won't play it all, but I'll just play it because the message is strong, and we're talking about changing our mindset. And this is the kind of thing I did when I was going through my financial journey, is study rich people and how they have found their way into wealth, and study the mindset of a rich person or a person who is driven towards wealth and abundance.
Do the rich people cringe and say, don't tell them that, Rob?
Yes. Don't tell people what you know.
Right.
Keep them poor. I've had financial crashes. I've had people stab me in the back, but they're all good because I grow from it. That's spirituality.
Right.
You know, people who are afraid of making mistakes, like they teach in school, they don't ever grow. Because spirituality is there's good and there's bad. There's right and there's wrong. There's up and there's down. Most people only want to be right. They only want to be positive. Well, you can't have that. That's not reality. Well, I wasn't poor by most people's standards, but I came from a family with a poor attitude, if you know what I mean. Because rich, poor, middle class, poverty starts with a fundamental attitude. Poverty is passed on. It's taught in your families. And middle class is taught in families. And so the people right now who are sitting at home, who are struggling financially or worried about money or unhappy, they may be making a lot of money, but unhappy with what they're doing, it was probably taught to you. You know, your superego was taught, get a job, work hard, or you'll never be rich, or the rich are evil, or whatever. The school system will never teach you about money. The school system was designed to teach you to be an employee, which is important, or a doctor or a lawyer, a specialist, but never about money. And what most people lack is real business knowledge, like accounting, you know, like debt, like taxes. You got to know that stuff, but they don't teach it in school to anybody.
All right, coming back to our presentation. Anybody want to give some insight on what they just saw or anything you saw interesting?
When you said the entrepreneurs work for free, I was like, damn. Because I feel like I do a lot of shit for like, just, not just for the hell of it, you know? Just because like I'm a creative entrepreneur, I guess, which I got to own more. But like not thinking about the money in that moment when you're working, especially when you're just doing things out of the heart of being an entrepreneur and then figuring out how you can monetize those things for yourself later.
Absolutely.
Rather than receiving money, getting paid to do something.
Yeah, when I started doing photography, everything I did was for free. And when I really started trying to turn it into a business, one of the things I did was do free photography for nonprofits. I would go to their events, I would show up at their things, and I'd just take pictures, and then I'd email them to the director. And then once they kind of saw who I was and I could take good pictures, then I could kind of give them a price. And I did that over and over again. And then I found like 5 or 6 nonprofits that were willing to pay me a good contract every time I came to one of their events. And I think like that's a pure example of that free work sometime being worth it, and whether it's building your network or just getting your name out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the part that resonated with me most, where it said entrepreneurs work for free, and the way I interpreted that was, yes, there's moments where I may like give things away for free or give my services for free, but the biggest thing that I connected with from that message was the fact that my business makes money, but I don't ever pay myself. Like the money that I'm making never goes to me. It either goes right back into the products or like just so many other things. And when it said, I'm like, dang, like I'm working for free. Like I would never do that for another organization. Like I should think about ways that like I'm able to actually pay myself.
Yeah.
Like that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and find value to it.
Yeah, I think like finding the value is where that spirituality comes in, like you said. It's like whether it's you take an L or you won from the situation, like figuring out how you grow from that situation regardless.
Absolutely. Here are some financial goals for 2020. These are examples of general goals, right? We're talking about goals because we're talking about changing our mindset. So we got have a well-stocked emergency fund. Anybody got one of those?
Nope.
Get out of debt completely. Anybody out of debt completely?
No.
Plan for early retirement. Anybody started doing that? Whatever. Saving 401k. Okay, good. Creating multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
Have anybody started doing that?
Yeah.
Good, good. Having enough insurance to cover contingencies, which is kind of like the emergency fund. Being able to live on less than you earn. Is anybody able to do that yet? It's kind of where we at. Ending the addiction to stuff that you may have. So for me, it was them iced teas. Has anybody knocked something out for 2020 yet and said, you know, I'm gonna cut this out?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm not gonna ask you what it is. Number 8, plan to do work that you love more.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I picked these goals because I think we can all relate to them. Get comfortable sharing your good fortune. Meaning, of course, once you get the fortune, you gotta, well, for me, I gotta give back to feel good about the money. You know what I'm saying? Like in one way or another. So I think that's what it means by sharing your good fortune or even your mindset. Plan to leave your financial house in order upon your death. You guys are all young, but has anybody even thought about that kind of stuff? But I think it's very rare that people are putting that together. One of my favorite quotes of all time, Maya Angelou. It is something that just rides with me every day. I'll probably get it tatted on my forehead. Nothing will work unless you do. And this is just a fact. I think it kind of speaks for itself. Be honest, self-evaluation. This is the part, again, that is the most important for me because, and that's why I come back to it, because I don't want you guys to be so hard on yourself, like, you know, we all broke, or rich people got it so good, or blah, 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 blah. So I'm pulling up a video that I found totally hilarious, but also informative in the fact that it doesn't matter how much money you have, you can still be broke.
You say you was broke. You had like $0 broke?
I like had to borrow money to get my kids Burger King.
Wow.
Yeah.
After having, what's the most you ever had to bank at one time?
40 million.
Jesus Christ. How do you have a hairline? My God. Yeah. $40 million to zero?
Yeah.
And it was just all bad spending? No bad investments? Like, what was it?
It was a lot of bad investments. A lot of things.
What did you invest in that didn't work for $40 million? What were you investing in?
Real estate.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Shoot.
You buy retail?
No, but I was letting my manager do it, and he was way more optimistic than I was.
So what do you mean optimistic?
Like he would just buy complete dumps and think that we could just paint, and then we should be
He didn't
fine.
know what he was doing.
Never sold anything that we bought.
Even now, like none of those areas y'all bought in became
we had to let
gentrified?
him go. We had to let him go. Now, I mean, we just had to let everything go. So you know.
Is there anything if you'd have held on to would be worth a lot now?
No.
I don't know, maybe some of y'all have seen that, but so a person like T-Pain, who's $40 million rich, can all of a sudden be broke through the same thing we going through in our struggles of trying to spend within our means, trying not to spend over, trying to manage it. So you really no different than these guys, is what I'm saying. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, and like it was a slide that you had before that said, how will more money change your life? And like I wrote the answer to that, like it won't. Like if I don't learn how to manage the little that I have coming in right now, I can have $1 million and it won't mean anything if I don't know how to manage like, you know, what I'm working on right now.
That's so true. That's the message I want you to get. What else came from seeing T-Pain talk about his money? He was pretty happy to lost $40 million. And so maybe, you know, his idea of financial freedom may not be having $40 million. It might be kind of similar to ours. Go ahead.
It makes me think of like when I was younger, working 2-3 jobs, making half of what I'm making now. I still am still dealing with the same struggles, even though I'm making more, and my bills are probably about the same or like around the same, like percentage-wise, I should be saving more.
Yeah.
But because I haven't took the steps to discipline myself or put stuff aside, I'm still struggling the same.
I get it.
I think like how he lost 40 million. I mean, he said investments, but that's probably not what he spent all the money on.
No, I mean, we know T-Pain had that big dumbass chain
yeah,
too, right?
A whole bunch of,
Come
literally
on.
was the big dumbass chain.
We know he made some stupid decisions.
But like just knowing how you can go from 40 to 0, like you can go from 0 to 40 in the same way. It's just all about taking that chance.
There is the other side of the coin.
Which is also like, you know, like kind of scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Let someone else like handle his money.
Yeah, be in charge of your shit.
Like
Key, he said, I let somebody else handle my investments.
you gotta be like the captain.
You gotta be hands on. Maybe an assistant.
But I think though, well, maybe this is the musician side of me, but he was smiling just because even though he went from 40 million to 0, he was still able to continue his passion.
Exactly. No, that's important. Because happiness is a part of financial freedom, maybe for you. So, self-evaluation. What are you wasting your money on the most? Write it down.
Oh, man.
What are you wasting your time on? Write it down. The most. You don't have to write this one, but ask yourself, are you the type of person who's always making excuses? Oh, I can do this tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to start exercising next week. Oh, I'm going to start eating healthy top of the month. Are you accomplishing your current goals, or are you they're just there, the ones you already have? What are you willing to sacrifice? Have you decided yet? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to get to your financial goal? And are you currently maximizing your true potential? More questions you have to ask yourself when it comes to self-evaluation.
The power broke is a mentality. So whether you have $1 in your pocket or $1 million in your pocket, it's all about using your resources, your Slack resources. It's OPM, it's other people's manufacturing, mind power, marketing, and things of that nature. So the power broke is to think about what you want to do instead of thinking you can buy everything, because money is just a superficial high. So that's gone, then everything else is going with it. First of all, it's coming up with a proof of concept. It's taking affordable steps. It's learning from those affordable steps. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people. It's about getting mentors, having mentors in your life. Don't think that the money is going to solve anything. And you know, a true entrepreneur, they act, they learn, and then they repeat. Entrepreneurs get up and they go, I have $5 to lose. I have $1,000 to lose. I have 1,000 hours to lose, and that is not a ROI. That is not a hypothetical thing. That is a fact. What they have to lose, and when they get to that point of losing it, then they either reset or they do it all over again in another aspect. And that exactly is what the power of broke is. When you have nothing, you have exactly your limitations, and that's all you can work with. Entrepreneurs fail because they start to eliminate all the things that don't work, and they start to see what does work. They fail a bunch of times until they home in on what exactly works.
Feedback. What'd you like? What'd you take from that? Please.
I would love to hear more about that. Money is a superficial high. Like, that was deep.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you
people think about that.
Yeah.
No,
when I was at his seminar the other time, he talked about OPM, and he didn't say other people's marketing, which is a cool way of putting it, but he said other people's money. And he was like, people don't understand money. Like, they think that you have to work 8 hours and you have to, you know, time is money. He's like, that's not necessarily true. That is partially true, but there's different ways to get it, you know. And I was thinking about, like, how does that work? And so when me and Shells were throwing events, we learned about sponsorships. Like, that was something we didn't consider at first.
Absolutely.
We considered, like, oh, we need to fundraise and get $900 to throw this event. But if we would have understood that we can use Red Bull's money to get those resources, now we have a free DJ or setup, or we have this and this, and, you know.
Now your rent money not on the line.
Yeah, and,
You feel me?
you know, like, whether we made money or lost money, it didn't really come out of our pockets.
Absolutely.
And so.
And you still got it accomplished.
Yeah, and the money flow was cool with that, like, and he was definitely the one who seeded that idea.
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, the power of being broke is just understanding that the value in your intuition, the value in your mind, the value in your creativity is just as valuable as the dollar. That's how we started our company back, 20 years ago, Guerrilla Promotions. We had a digital camera and a scanner and just decided to start doing flyers for people. And then it turned into a marketing production company, turning nothing into something. So building a budget. We're going to build a budget today, individual budgets. I know people don't probably like looking at their budgets, but we're going to do it. I just want to make sure I missed anything. Oh, does anybody want to share what to waste the money on the most? I'm not afraid. I already said mine. Anybody? Huh? Clothes. That you don't need. Food. Food's a big one. What'd you say? Uber, yeah, Uber's a big one, transportation. Food's a big one because especially when you work in a job that's not paying you that great and you need to eat every day, and then you realize that you're spending $10 a day on a meal, and at the end of the week you've spent $50 on a meal and it's coming out of your check, and then at the end of the month you spent $200 on lunches every day and it's coming out of your check. Food's a big one. But we gotta eat.
Yeah.
So you gotta find that balance. All right, building a budget. Understanding exactly where your money is going. That's why it's important. I know this is common sense, but please think about it in terms of changing your life. Understanding exactly where your money's going. I live on a budget. I check it every month. I'll show you how I do it. It's pretty freaking intense, but it helps. Live within your means and meet your goals. What does it mean to live within your means? Well, basically it means you're not spending money you can't afford to spend. It helps you find others. What did I put? It helps you find others. I can't fucking read it. It's too blurry this close. Oh, it helps you find other uses for your money. The budget, right? Because now you're looking at where your money's going. You see, hey, I got a little extra over here. I can stand to spend this. It's not going to hurt me. The financial anxiety goes away now because you know this money, I can allot to this. I know I got $200 in my entertainment budget every month where I can go to the movies, take my kids for popcorn, just chill out without stressing, and all my bills are still paid. It helps you pay off debt. So if you're in debt like me, you want to pay it off little by little. You take money that you've made and saved and you put it there. Budgeting is the only way I've started to do that. I didn't start taking care of my debt until I started budgeting. Budget is the cornerstone of any solid financial future. Don't underestimate the power of the budget. Every big business has a budget. Every corporation has a budget. It's kind of where they start. So you should have a personal budget. So how do we start? And here's why we're going to do it. Because after we do it, I'm going to give you a simpler, even simpler way to do it. I didn't bring you any charts or workshops to work on or paperwork to work on because you guys aren't kids. And plus, you're going to do this in your own life. This won't even matter if you don't take it back and do it in your own life. This is a self-reflecting thing where you need to sit down in a room and say, I'm going to change my life. None of y'all are going to be able to do that here today in this group. This is something you have to do on your own, these tools. So, but we're going to do small stuff today. So on that piece of paper you have, your little notebooks or whatever you're writing on, I want you to take 2 minutes to determine your monthly income. Shouldn't take too long, right? Unless you got a whole bunch of money coming in from different places. Just write down a general ballpark number that's as close as you can to your monthly income. And that number being the number after your taxes are paid, okay? Don't worry about expenses, but just that number you get on your check, okay? And if it's multiple streams of income, let's say Gene, you run a clothing business. Let's say you know you have about $300 to $500 extra dollars coming in from your clothing company that you stay consistent on because you're selling things. You can add that. That's your income. Jalen, if you got church gigs or anything you're doing on the side that you've been making money on, you can add that. That's an income. Try to only use the things that are consistent in your life, not the things that just come in and out every now and then. We're not going to add those just yet. We're going to add those things we can count on, like our job at True School or our job at, whatever organization. And all you got to do, we're just doing a monthly income. So those 2 checks you get a month, you just take them, you add them up, and you get a number. Yes.
If I'm married, do I count my husband?
You can. So when it comes to budgeting, your budgets can be different. You can have a personal budget, and you can also have a family budget. So for your personal budget, that's a personal decision. Do you want to budget just your money, or do you want to have a family budget that budgets your family? It's up to how your families run. Do you guys put your income together? Do you split it up? Some people will have a personal budget and a family budget, and then you mix them both together, like me. My wife has her own income. We split bills. She has her own budget. I have my own budget. Yeah. So you might want to start with a personal budget because that will help you when it comes time to building your home budget. So we're starting with that, determining our monthly income. We should have it in about 30 more seconds. Get the wheels rolling. How much money you bringing in a month? Where's it coming from? How you bringing it in? It might be easy because it might just be one job. And that's totally cool. Monthly income. Everybody got it? Everybody got it, mostly? All right. We'll say, for the example, it's going to be $3,000, $1,500 a check, all right? Now we're going to calculate our monthly fixed expenses, what we have to spend money on every month. This will take us a little longer, but individually, you should start a list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go down. What's most important? What do we all have? Most of us have rent. Most of us have cell phone bills. Most of us have gas and electricity bills. Some of us have transportation costs. You calculate them daily, weekly, and monthly, and get that monthly number. How much are you spending a month? Some of us have this god-awful parking fee that we do every time we come to True School, which is only $4. But if you think about it, if you come twice a week, no, I'm just kidding. But it adds up. Damn near $400 a year just to park and come here twice a week. If you have thought about it or haven't.
We found some new parking vouchers though.
Good. Hook me up later because I hate it. I'll lie to the parking people to get out without paying them fees. Some of us go to the ATM for our money all the damn time instead of going to the bank, and we just say, forget the fee. Forget the $1.50 fee or the $2 fee, and we do it, right? Some of us don't even care. We're like, it's convenient. I'll pay that $2 fee for the ATM. And if you do it on a regular, that fee adds up. You should add it into your expenses. Some of us have children to feed, toiletries to buy, groceries to buy. You want to put an amount that is realistic, accurate, and just about what you're spending a month on those things. We'll spend a little time working on this. Because I want you guys to be honest with yourself. If it's lunch you're buying every day, and it's costing you $8 to $10 a day, you need to do 8 to 10 times 30 because you're doing it every day. Or take the weekends out and do it times 25. Maybe you smoke marijuana. Maybe you drink alcohol. That's an expense you need to add. Maybe you get a coffee every morning right before work. It's only $1.89, but you do it 25 days out of the month. That's an expense that needs to go in your budget. Maybe you got Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Sling, Playboy Plus. No. I'm just saying, be real with yourself. Do not deny yourself. These are expenses got to go in your budget. It's a monthly budget. So an expense like Stream or Hulu is only a one-time budget, but you should add it because eventually we'll multiply it by 12. See what you're spending every year.
OPM that stuff.
That's good. You got to find ways to share passwords. Maybe you're helping your mom out with groceries, so every month you're putting $50 in her account or buying her groceries or something. That's something you know is coming up every month. You got to add it. Transportation's a big one that people often leave out. If you have a car, don't forget the expense to keep gas in that car. Don't forget your payments. If you're a guy like me who likes to go to the movies once a month, it might be 50, 60 bucks to take the family. Think hard, guys. You got to write them down. I want you to think of as many monthly expenses as you can and be real with yourself. Self-evaluate. Do not leave an expense out because you are cheating yourself. I'm going to share a couple of my expenses, and then maybe that'll help you guys as you're writing yours, if I can find them. Once a month. You guys know what you're spending money on. If you don't, that's a problem. We're going to fix that too. Guys got like 3 more minutes. Maybe it's a, think transportation, think everyday living. Maybe it's your rent, utilities, health insurance. Maybe it's a gym membership. Don't forget those gym memberships. Maybe it's an out-of-pocket medical expense you got to spend every day on, like some eye treatment or other medical things. Student loan payments, child support, alimony, whatever. Add it. All right? All right, so most of you are probably getting closer and closer to that number. Once you've calculated your monthly fixed expenses, I want you to put it right under that monthly income amount and subtract it. So we're going to say, for example's sake, our fixed expenses, for the example, are $2,500 a month after everything's paid for, rent, everything. Now, don't forget your discretionary expenses. A lot of people do. Discretionary expenses are that sweet tea I like buying every day or whatever, I'm an impulsive shopper, so every time I go to the store to buy something, I'm always adding things or, don't forget that stuff. Maybe once a month, you know, maybe I'm a tech guy and I like buying new tech stuff every month. So I'm spending $50 to $100 on just gadgets, whatever it might be. But once you get that expense number, you're going to subtract it from your total income. And then you should get what I call a magic number. Right? Has anybody got the magic number yet? You don't have to share it. I just want to know how far we're getting. Anybody getting close? You do the subtraction, do the math. Still working on expenses, people? Because expenses take time. And I understand. So, in the example of our person here, the sad guy with his heart on the ground, he's working, he's getting $3,000 a month, but he's spending $2,500, and he's only got $500 a month. He's actually doing okay because you got $500 a month. It's just extra money, right? You pay for everything, you got $500 a month that can go in your bank account. Most of us probably aren't doing that good. I'll just be honest, I was not fucking doing that good. You're gonna take that magic number and divide it by 30. The average amount of days a month. And I don't know if anybody else has this equation. I just kind of came up with it through my own experience.
No, actually, like when we were talking about budget earlier, I kind of broke it down like that.
The final number is the average you can afford to spend per day to stay within your living means. So, for this person, 30 days divided by 500. I'm not even going to try. Let me see. About $16 a day. Now, when I did this for myself, I realized my living means was only about $6 a day where I was at. But I was spending, because, you know, you can look at your expenses, I was spending about $40 a day, in honesty, on just junk food, bullshit, whatever. I was living above my means. And so this was a process that really, really was eye-opening for me. I'm like, whoa, never thought about it as far as expenses per day. How much I can afford to spend. Now, we know every day we're not going to spend the same amount of money. One day we might spend 40, we might chill for a couple of days. Next day we might spend 80, we might chill for a couple of days. But when you think about your daily expenses, how many people break it down like that? Whereas you think about every day what you can afford to spend and what you can't. And how far you're living above your means. And how do you get it to the point where now you're saving more and bringing in more? Because in all honesty, the road to riches and financial freedom is not really about how much you can save. It's about how much you can make. People don't get rich by saving money. They get rich by making money, finding ways to bring in money. So go ahead.
No, I heard this quote a long time ago where it's like, I don't listen to him that often because he's really repetitive, but Gary Vee.
Okay.
He had this thing where he was saying that he's like, you know, if money is really what you're after, then you have to take it on the offense. Like, there is no defense. If you think defensively, it's like survival, you know, the whole time. But if you actually want to make money and get to that financial level, it's about, like what you just said, it's about going out and making money. It's about the offensive, like you know, how can you capitalize on something, or how can you
turn your talents into streams of income? No, I totally agree. And so this is just one way for you to get an introspective look, for that self-evaluation, to see where you're living. And the reason I had this heart dropped out, because most of us would probably look at it and be like, oh my God, what am I doing with my money? Where's it going? So here's what I suggest, and it's only worked for me. Go cashless. Why go cashless?
Keep track of what you're spending more.
Definitely. Everyone hates losing cash. Anybody ever lost money? It's the worst fucking feeling ever. Management, cash control. You get to manage your money. You're going to be your own banker now. Tracking your expenses, like you said. evaluating your spending expenditures, being able to look at yourself every month and do a self-evaluation and say, I'm buying too many double cheeseburgers. Sticking within a budget. Staying within your budget so you can have that money to save every month. You're not going over. When somebody asks you for something, you can say, nah, it's not in my budget. Nah, I'm over budget on that this month. I can't go to the movies because I already filled up my movie budget this month. And it feels good to tell people that because you're in control of your money now. Watch where your money grows before you spend it. This is big, especially for you guys because you're entrepreneurs and you get cash coming in. And for me, my strategy was to put it in the bank before I spend it. Even if I know I had to spend it that day, I put it in the bank before I spend it. Why? Because I want to see it grow. I want to see those numbers grow. I want to be able to pat myself on the back and say, "Gid, you did good this month." Because at the end of the month, I'm going to track what came in and what came out. And if I get cash for a project and I don't put it in the bank, I'm never going to be able to track that. 9 times out of 10, people aren't going to remember that. I mean, people still save receipts. I have friends who do it. But it's so much easier now. And if you're doing that, that system works for you, fine. Because maybe at the end of the month you can track it. But find a system that works for you. That's the key. Not which system, find a system. Which moves me on to financial planning has been made super easy with apps. So get organized. Get serious. Take your financial planning serious. Use financial tracking apps. I'm going to give you one I recommend highly. Go completely cashless. Again, I only say that because it allowed me to get a grip on where my money was going. Save your receipts and start a logbook of monthly expenses if you choose. That's totally up to you. Analyze your budget at the end of the month. At the end of the month, you better stop and look and say, how did I do? Otherwise, how are you going to progress? How are you going to set new goals for yourself? Do that every single month. Don't let yourself down. Keep all your bills in one place. If your bills are a hectic thing and you haven't automated them like I'm going to suggest, keep them in one place. Pay your bills electronically. I do. It just really helps for me. It's a system that works for me. Some people like to go in and see you. I'm going to show where my money going. Look, that's time. You're spending time going to pay your phone bill. You're spending time going to pay your electric bill. Do it electronically. Give yourself a peace of mind. Put your financial apps first on your home screen. What does that mean? I'm going to call y'all out. Open up your home screen. What's the first app that reaches to your finger first? What's the closest app to your phone, to your thumb? What is it? Be honest. Who has a damn video game? Huh? What is it? Text messaging? What's fingers reach on your phone? Instagram.
It's really like temptation because I got all my social media and I got all my LinkedIn and my
Okay. You organized though. You got to organize. Look, guys, this is crucial. Something I did in order to change my mindset. I put my finance apps at thumb reach. Yeah, so it's the first thing I can hit on my phone. Cash apps. I put my social, and I've got it very categorized. I don't know if it's my ADD or whatever, but or OCD, I should say. But it's organized, so I know my social stuff's here, my finance stuff's here, my YouTube stuff here, my selling apps are here, and the ones I need to focus on, like the financial apps, are at a thumb's reach. You got to trick yourself. We're in a place where social media is consuming us, video games online, and our phones are consuming us, wasting our time. Trick yourself, and that's all I did. Now I click my bank app way more than I click my Facebook app, and I made a mental choice to do that. Because Facebook wasn't bringing me no money. So I started to think, how can I make my money exciting? There's an app for that. The app I recommend to you guys today so that you leave with a little value is called Mint. I use it personally. It's changed my life. I wish I could talk to the Mint CEO and tell him how it changed my life. Why? Because I never really tracked every penny, and now I do. And with Mint, they give you graphs, they give you charts, everything you need to kind of make it fun. Like, maybe that's your style. Maybe you like, stuff like that when it comes to money. I like it. Makes budgeting easy. You can set financial goals in there. You can watch them get closer to the goals. They give you trends and reports. So you see, hey, this month I'm a little over on fast food or a little over on this and that. Anybody else use Mint?
I think I heard it.
Okay. I would encourage you guys to. Every dollar you say you use? There are a few of them out there. Find out which ones are dope for you. Mint might not be the one for you. Mint has its downfalls too, just like every app. Mint works for me because I'm not checking my money every second. You know what I mean? So it's just there. And at the end of the month, I can do a budget and check everything. And also I can categorize things. So whatever it is I'm spending on, I can put it, whether it's recreational, entertainment, health related, and it'll auto-categorize a lot of that stuff for you too. Also now they can track your credit and do investment tracking as well. So a little value.
Whatchamacallit on your thing, that ACORN app, is that free?
Yes, which I'm about to move to. I swear by ACORN too. All right, who wants to read the quote?
I read it.
Go ahead.
Rich people stay rich by living like they're broke. Broke people stay broke by living like they're rich. That is so true.
Means a lot. Rich people stay rich by living like they're broke. Broke people stay broke by living like they're rich. How many people y'all know like that? Spend wisely. Traits of the super rich. Who are the rich? Who are they? And how are they spending their money? Well, you've all seen these on Instagram, right? Where they put the rich guy next to the poor guy and they show how the poor guy or the rich guy's shoes are only $40, his jeans are only $80, his shirt's only $20, and his glasses are $129. But the poor guy, his shoes are $300, his jeans are $500, his jacket is, $300 more, his shades are $5,000, his hat is, right? We know people like this. Huh? He fly though, he fly. And you know what? There is something said about, dressing fly or driving fly that'll get you into some places to make you some money. Like I used to have a fly car and people say, oh, it's a waste of money. It was, but it would get me to some places that, I couldn't necessarily get to. But the fact of the matter is most of us who are living like this are living above our means. We don't have the money to blow on it like that. We just do it out of insecurity and, we just want to be fly, right? That's our value. So where does that come from? What don't rich people do? Impulse purchases. Those last minute purchases. In Target up here, they're so fucking good at it. They put all their little fresh stuff right at the counter. Impulse purchases. Junk food. Not only are you taxing your body, you're taxing your account. And that's how I looked at junk food. Chips, everything, Flaming Hots. Not only am I tearing up my intestines, I'm tearing up my pocket. Clothing and footwear, high-end brands, the latest gadgets, blah, blah, blah. Loans and late fees. Fees are big ones. Fees are ones that we all ignore, but they're big. Buying kids fancy toys. How many of us do it? If you got them. Bottled waters and energy drinks. One of the things I picked up from a lot of people, rich people, is they don't buy bottled waters. They just don't. They look at it like a waste of money. I have this thing where I say there's good money and bad money in terms of where you spend it. This is something I live by. Good money would be something I put some money in and it'll bring me an investment back. It'll bring me a return. That's good money or something of value I need. Bad money is something I buy and, excuse the terminology, I piss it out in an hour. Like a shot of Hennessy or a bottle of water, right? Because now you got this money, it's in your system and it's out, it's gone, you'll never get it back. It's bad money. Or a bag of Oreo cookies, whatever it may be. You spent it, it's gone, it's out of your life forever. It's in someone else's hands, right? We can't always control it, but it's a mindset that I kind of program myself to minimize my spending of bad money and start putting that money in good places.
How did you start making that into a habit? You just do a little bit a day? Because for me, there's definitely times when I'll be like, no, I don't need this. This food right here, I don't really and then I'll justify and whatever way I can, I'll find whatever way to justify
it. We all do that.
I want to eat this food.
I deserve this.
Yeah, I deserve
We all do, man. It's a part of being human. It's nothing wrong with it. I would say what I did was I brainwashed myself. I mentally brainwashed myself into thinking different. I spent time trying to think differently about money and where it was going. And what helped me is how I tracked my money. How I started looking at where I was wasting it. When I look at my account at the end of the month and realize I've given McDonald's $80 on bullshit out of the month, just because it's close to my job and I eat there a lot. And I love the sausage burrito in the morning. You feel me? And then I'm like, damn, that's kind of stupid. $80 a month to McDonald's times 12. That's almost $1,000 I'm blowing at Walmart. I mean at McDonald's. So that's the thing. The budget really put it in my head. Private development coaches and seminars. Try to participate in as much stuff as you can. That's what rich people do. They don't spend their money on a bunch of trendy fashion. And like I said, you could be rich spending your money, but look at T-Pain. Is that really rich? Is that your idea of financial freedom? Pricey grooming. Honestly, I ain't had my hair cut in like 2 months. Why? Because I don't know. I love my hair and I ain't finna spend $30 to get a haircut. It's something I sacrificed to say, you know what? I don't need a haircut. I love my hair. Feel me? Or I could cut it myself. You feel me? I'll get some trimmers, right? I cut that $30 a month expense out. And if you like, you know, you fly for dudes, you go twice a month. And they probably like, $30? Shit. I pay, you know, but, you know, anyway, you get the point. TV channels and video games, right? They don't waste time on that. They don't. I'll play this video. Did I got y'all for like 20 more minutes? Is that cool? I promise.
5 more. No, just kidding.
All right. I hope this info has been helpful. Here is a video to think about.
In the world we live in today, the richest 1% of the population controls 48% of the total wealth. And the top 80 richest individuals are worth as much as half the world's population, or roughly 3.5 billion people. When considering these figures, there is no doubting the fact that there is a separation between the rich and the poor. While many people assume these wealthy individuals gain their wealth by being born into wealth or winning the lottery, that simply isn't true. In fact, only 11 out of the 80 richest individuals were passed down their fortunes, with the other 69 having made their wealth through their own hard work and determination. And one of these 69 individuals is none other than the investor mogul himself, Warren Buffett. Like the majority of these rich individuals, Warren Buffett grew up in a middle-class family, but found a way to amass the knowledge and skills that would eventually lead him to accumulating a wealth of over $70 billion. Undoubtedly, we have all seen people living in excess and others living with next to nothing. But have you ever taken a second to think about what truly separates the rich from the poor? Sure, the obvious answer is that the rich have significantly more money than the poor, but I'm talking about the reasons beyond the dollars and cents. When you think about it, a rich and a poor person can live in the same city, have access to the same jobs, and both only have 24 hours in the day. Yet one can be living paycheck to paycheck, while the other can have more money than they could spend in an entire lifetime. So what truly makes the difference between someone who will amass billions of dollars in their lifetime and someone who will struggle financially forever? Well, using our rich friend John and our poor friend Tim to explain, I will outline exactly what separates the two, so you can adopt these rich person habits and realize financial prosperity in your own life. Before we get going, you should know that both John and Tim have similar IQs, come from middle-class families, and live in the same city. In short, neither man has any advantage over the other. However, their bank accounts are at total opposite ends of the money spectrum. It's Monday afternoon, and both John and Tim commute home from work. When Tim gets home, he goes over to his couch, turns on Netflix, and binge watches hours of mindless TV to numb himself from the long workday he had. While Tim's boss recommended that he should read more books in order to increase his chances of getting promoted this year, Tim can't be bothered to read, especially now that a new season of his favorite show has come out. When John arrives home, he immediately logs into his computer to start studying. Hours pass as John reviews his notes for his upcoming exam. While John already has a master's degree and multiple designations, he continues to put in a few hours every night to work towards another accreditation, which will help him scale the corporate ladder faster. In fact, John recently learned that one of his idols, Dan Lok, invests over $500,000 a year into continuous learning. John figures that if millionaires are investing that much time and money into learning new things, then he should definitely do the same. Therefore, difference number one between the rich and the poor is that the rich never stop learning. At work the next day, Tim's boss begins handing out bonuses to all of the employees. As Tim opens up his envelope, he sees that he's gotten a $100 bonus, much less than all of his peers. Tim goes up to his boss and complains, saying that he's been at the company for 10 years, and this is an embarrassing bonus to have received. His boss goes on to point out that Tim never stays late to help his team, and that his productivity has dropped every year since he started. Across town, John is plowing through his current project at work when his boss approaches him. His boss hands him an envelope, and as he opens it, he sees in front of him a $10,000 check in his name. John is stunned and very appreciative of the generous bonus. John's boss goes on to explain that John has been putting in a ton of hours as of late, and his last project saved the company $1 million in operating expenses. So, to recognize his work, this was the least they could do. Therefore, difference number 2 is the rich sell value and the poor sell time. The following week, Tim is counting down the days until Thursday, which is when he gets paid. As soon as his boss gives him his bi-weekly check, he rushes to the bank and begins sending out payments to all of his creditors. He sends money to his landlord, to his hydro company, and of course his monthly installment for income tax. As Tim gets to the end of the month, he decides to see just how much money he saved. As he opens his balance, he realizes that not only did he not save any money, but that his account was lower than it was a month prior. Tim has no idea where all the money could have gone. When John gets paid, $500 is automatically deducted and is funneled into a savings account that he can't access. After making sure his savings have been funded for the month, John then makes his mortgage payment, pays his utilities company, and makes his monthly installment of income taxes to the government. At month's end, John smiles as he notices that once again, his bank balance has grown, making him even richer than he already is. Therefore, difference number 3 is the rich pay themselves first, while the poor pay themselves last. One night after work, Tim is watching TV and sees an ad for a new high-definition television that is being released. The TV costs $1,000, which is all that Tim can afford to spend on entertainment devices for the year. While Tim contemplates this purchase, he has also been dying to buy the new PlayStation that just came out, but at a cost of $500, there is no way he can get both. Tim sulks, wishing that his boss didn't suck, and had given him a bigger bonus so that he could afford to buy both. After passing his exam, John wants to treat himself for his hard work and decides that he wants to buy himself a new gaming system and TV. John too only has a budget of $1,000 for his purchase, but really wants both the new state-of-the-art TV and the PlayStation console. Instead of deciding between the two, John asks himself how he can get both. John figures that he can take on a side consulting project to earn the extra $500 he needs to cover the cost of the PlayStation and build himself the perfect gaming setup to celebrate his big accomplishment. Therefore, difference number 4 is that the rich have a growth mindset, while the poor have a fixed mindset.
All right, so you guys are kind of getting the point. I'll give you guys a link so you can watch the rest of that. But again, change your mindset. Anybody want to share something that stood out? Quick.
That last part though, like the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. Like one thing I've learned recently is like that I have a lot more control in my life than I thought. Like growing up, like you know, I could blame somebody, but really it's if I just took control and I just like you know, like I could have done better. And that growth aspect, but like just the way he worded it was really cool.
And perspective, how you look at things that are given to you or things that are taken from you. So, you were talking about ACORNS. We'll talk a little about it. Because now once you've budgeted your money, and let's say you've used a mechanism for your own to track your expenses, now you can look at ways to bring in more money. And so these are a few apps that I use in order to generate extra income, what they call passive income. So you got your money that's coming in from your job, you got your side hustle, now you got a little passive income coming in. So you were asking about ACORNS. I personally recommend it. The reason I do is because I started with $5 a month and realizing, damn, I wasn't even saving $5 a month. That's easy. Let me move up a little bit. You put the money into a saving and investment account, but it also has what they call spare change investing, where if you buy a coffee for $1.80, that 20 cent, round up to the next dollar, will go into a saving investment account automatically, money you won't miss. In fact, I checked my ACORNS a few days ago. I remember about 2.5 years ago, I tried to put Shalina on ACORNS. I've saved over $884 in spare change on my ACORNS since I tried to put her onto it, in spare change. That's just me swiping because now we've gone cashless, right? Cash is out of our pocket. Everything we do is swipe it. Every time I swipe, that change goes into a saving investment account that I don't touch. It's still sitting there. I could take a trip with that money right now.
I'm at $100 on my ACORNS right now.
There you go. I mean, that's just a spare change. My ACORNS is kind of fat. I ain't gonna lie. That's just a spare change portion. Because you can automate your investments too. So I personally do $50 a month towards my ACORNS, and then I do the automatic swipe change roundup. And because I've gotten so good with the change roundup, I do it times 3. ACORNS allows you to do it 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times the change amount to add it up. So now instead of just 20 cents on the $1.80 coffee going into my investment account, I got 60 cents every time I spend, or whatever money is left over times 3. That make sense? If it doesn't, tell me. So ACORNS dope. I started with ACORNS. I started with ACORNS when it came to investing. I never invested $1 in my life into any stocks, companies, America, nothing. ACORNS got me started. ACORNS will give you like an ETF based in the stuff that you're interested in. You can pick what you're interested in, and I just do a $50 a month investment. Robinhood, another one, allows you to pick personal stocks and ETFs. It's free trading, and Stash, also free trading. They also have they're very similar. I use all 3. I got money in all 3. Why? Because once I did ACORNS and ACORNS was going to good, I'm like, that ain't enough. I can do more. I can save more. I can invest more. I can put my money in better places than I'm putting it. So I put a little in Robinhood, and I put a little in Stash. Why? Because they're easy to use. It levels the playing field, meaning I think it's going to change the fucking world, to be honest. Like, I don't want to be small about it, but think about it. People like me wasn't investing 10, 20 years ago. And I know a lot of people using these that weren't traditionally investing. I didn't grow up in a family that taught me stocks and ETFs and Wall Street. So what am I doing now? I'm actually changing the course of my family's financial future because I'm investing now. Think about that when you think about it. Like, I hope to take my investments and pass them to my daughter so she can continue the investments. I'm investing in companies that I want to grow and see in the next 10 to 20 years. So you get a chance to invest in things like medical marijuana, biotechnology, artificial intelligence, Apple, Disney, Nike. Come on, man. If me and his parent would have invested in Nike and Walt Disney years ago, imagine. But they didn't have access or the knowledge. So this levels the playing field. I highly invest in all 3 of these to the point where I'd be tripping out myself how much I throw in these damn apps. But it's all into my own personal saving and investment account. And I started small. I started with $5 a month on ACORNS, Robinhood, and Stash. I moved up $10 a month, $20 a month. I started challenging myself. What can I save more of? Now, if something comes up, I have an expense, I want to take a trip, I could pull out of my Robinhood Stash and have the money in my account in 2 days.
No penalty?
No penalty. Because you've already paid your costs and fees. Your only penalty would be is if you invest in a bad stock and it's going down or something. And also you can do fractional shares. You don't have to buy a whole $180 share of Nike. You can come in $5 a month at a time until you get to that point, and now you own a whole share, which is groundbreaking too, because fractional shares to everyday people weren't available before these apps are here. So like, I'm thinking 20 years down the line, these kind of apps are gonna change the financial future for people like you and me, regular people who don't have a chance to invest in these things. I also invest in the things I'm interested in. Because I'm interested in a more clean and green environment, I invest in clean and green companies. I invest in solar power. I invest in wind energy. Why? Because I see the world will need to start taking things like these seriously. I'm more of a practical investor. I don't invest in the sciences because that's not totally my thing. I don't know anything about bioscience, but I know clean water is a scarcity amongst the earth, and pretty soon we're going to have to start dealing with the clean water issue. I know energy is going to be an issue we have to deal with, so I'm investing in these companies for the future at a slow pace. Questions?
Yeah, I got 2. I wanted to comment on the question. The comment was, when I first got into Robinhood, me and my brother invested into Snapchat when it first started, like years back, and that was our first investment, and it returned like, I think, quadruple the amount. It was cool. I think we put in like $100 and like made like 500 out of it or something like that. But then we blew all that money. That was stupid of us. But
and now it's back up. Then it went down. Now it's right back up.
I have to get back on it. But what is? I keep seeing this term. I've been trying to get into financial literacy a little bit more. Like, what is penny stocks?
Penny stock is any stock that's under $5.
That's it?
Any stock in America that's under $5, that's what they consider.
Robinhood has a lot of that, right?
It does, but it also has a lot of major companies like Disney, Amazon, Apple. But penny stocks is just any company that's usually under $5. That's what they consider a penny stock. So coming in on a stock company at an early time or at a time when it's bad and the stocks are low. So being really quick, because we only got 10 minutes here. In these apps, there's two types of things you can invest in. Individual stocks and what they call ETF. I can't tell you what ETF stand for, but I can tell you what it is. ETF is when a bunch of companies that have the similar mission get together and they create one stock. So for instance, I invest in a marijuana stock called MJ. It's an ETF. It is 5 different leading marijuana companies coming together to say we want to create one stock called MJ. So for a lower risk, I can invest in not just one company, but 5 of the top companies in a package deal. So when one company's doing bad, it doesn't hurt the ETF as much. Now, if I'm invested in a stock like an individual stock like Canopy, which is a lead marijuana pot stock, but they all of a sudden there's regulations and that stock drops, I'm going to drop with the stock. I'm going to take the hits with the individual company. An ETF just it's a little safer stock bet, basically. So I have ETFs in energy, I have ETFs in security, I have ETFs in marijuana. I try to build a $10,000 ETF pocket, basically where my first $10,000 would go into these kind of companies first. ETFs. Why? Because it's safer and it's consistent growth. Then once I reached $10,000, I started putting money in individual stocks like Nike, like Disney, like different places where I think I spend my money, whether it's Walmart, whether it's Amazon. Those are individual stocks. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert, but I do know that. And that's what you're gonna learn in here. But understand here, there are educational tools as well to help guide you through this. That's the beauty of this. This is where my expertise comes from, is basically when it comes to finance and investment is those apps. We didn't talk about credit. I'll breeze through it because I'm not an expert on credit. I'm still trying to build my credit. But what I do know is apps will help you as well with that. Anybody use Credit Karma? Credit Karma, I swear by it. It's super dope. Again, just like every other app, it helps you manage your money. It helps you understand where your spending has gone, but it also shows you those numbers so it gives you something to reach to. If you're in a credit union or bank, join a credit builder program. Most banks won't even tell you they have them. Ask about it. Credit builder program. And basically, they'll give you like a $1,000 loan of your own money that you pay back to show that you can consistently pay money back. For instance, at my bank, I have a $1,000 credit builder program where they took $1,000 of my money and basically put it aside, and then I paid them $22 a month back until it's paid. And then on my Credit Karma, you can see a credit history now. I'm building a credit history. I'm showing that I got some money to spend. What do you bank with? I bank with First Financial. No, yeah, First Citizens. First Citizens. Sorry, they just changed, so that's why I'm First Citizens. But I would recommend any credit union because they often offer those credit builder programs. Their bank might not, but a credit union will. Educators too, yep, is awesome. Set up a payment plan for your debt. Stop ignoring it. If you can pay it all off, just do it. Just do it. If you got it, just do it. I know it's hard, but just do it. Avoid credit inquiries at all times, meaning like every time you this was a whack one to me when I was young. You go to those baseball games, they try to get a baseball hat or something, you sign up for something with the bank and then they deny you. Well, that's a credit inquiry and it'll go on your credit report. And all of a sudden you got marks on your credit report you didn't know about. So avoid those at all costs.
TJ Maxx. Would you like to sign up?
That emoji.
Exactly.
Just like you.
That's me, damn it. I promise y'all we're wrapping up in 5. The power of the side hustle. Think about this now. Think about this now. We're putting together a formula for success. You got your job, you got your side hustle, and you got your investments. Now you got some streams of income. Now you can say, oh, I got 3 streams of income. Shit, right? I got my job, I got my investments, and I got my side hustles. Why the side hustle? Side hustle is crucial. Don't take it lightly. Cash hustle can be tax-free, right? I mean, eventually you'll turn your side hustle to a business and you have to pay taxes, but think about it. That's tax-free money. Add extra savings to your account. Create yourself a safety net. My most lucrative side hustle was a nightclub business, throwing parties. It helped me create a safety net. It helped me create some kind of extra flow of income, where I could put my work money towards bills and actually have some money to save. Music might be your side hustle, but are you really taking it seriously so that you can monetize it. Also, side hustles allow you to hone your skills and develop your network. We talked about everything not being paid and that some things you got to do for free and that the network is just as powerful as a check sometime. Well, the side hustle can help you transition into a full-time career of whatever it is you want to do. The potential for career transition, again, also another benefit, testing market ideas. After last year, I looked at my income. Get this, last year I made double my work income on my side hustles. So I'm just saying, don't take your side hustles lightly, right? So I made double what I made on my side hustles that I did at my work job. When I saw that, I just had to really evaluate, like, damn, why am I taking these so lightly? Why am I not putting just as much energy into my side hustles as I am my job? When my job is not making half of what I'm making on my side hustles. So to give you guys more value, and a lot of you probably already know about these, but I use these apps a lot for side hustling and what I call referral hustling. So most apps today have what they call referral programs, where they pay you to refer people. The investment apps I showed you, Stash, Robinhood, ACORNS, they all have referral programs. ACORNS right now will pay you $5 to refer somebody. If you refer 5 people this month, they'll give you $200. Stash, I think it has a $5 or $10 referral program for everybody you invite. Robinhood will give you a piece of stock if you invite someone. DoorDash, I think theirs is like $200. Once the person you've referred has delivered a certain amount, you get a $200 referral. LYFT always has like a $20 to $50 referral for inviting people to LYFT. Postmates, Macari is a website that you can actually sell online. I've started doing it. I've started taking pictures and stuff in my closet. I sold my first Chicago embroidered hat that I never wore in the house for $20 the other day. Like, it's out there and you can use it. Macari's dope because it has a huge circulation of people that are actually buying and selling on it. And so I got 3 or 4 items on there now. Facebook Marketplace, again, you guys know. Uber also has a referral program where you can refer people who haven't used Uber. Bluehost is a website hosting app that allows you to build your own website. How many people need a website? How many people know somebody who need a website? If you refer somebody to that site and they use your link, they'll give you $100 just for referring that person. Trust me, I've tried all of these things and they work. I wouldn't give you something that didn't work. YouTube, you all know ways that people use YouTube to make money or monetize their YouTube. Of course, there's stipulations on how you do it. I'm not gonna go through all of these, but I want you guys to understand they are out there. Airbnb right now has like a $40 credit or something you can put towards your next booking if you refer someone.
I have a cool thing about Airbnb that I learned this summer. Is they have something called Airbnb experiences now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So even if you're not like
you don't have a home,
have a home, you can do like a tourist thing. Like
Yep.
I taught dance classes out in the city. I would be like, I would show them the fawns and I would teach them a dance move. And I was a little like dance tour guide. But I made like that summer, that month, I made an extra like $400 doing dance tours for like 1 hour.
Airbnb experience. I've seen it. So when someone comes to your town, they can get an experience, maybe a hip hop tour Milwaukee or whatever, right? So, you know, the fact of the matter is, I say this to say there really are no excuses anymore. There are ways to bring in more streams of income. Fiverr is a great one. If you want to use it, you know, you find something you can do really good and really fast and offer it for a low price on the website. I pay people on Fiverr to do stuff all the time. Why? Because I may not be able to do it or I need to get it done fast and it's cheap. Fiverr's a great website for it. Bird and Lime, the scooters, they were paying people not only to deliver scooters, but just to refer people to the app. Extra money. I made like $3,000 one summer just referring people to LYFT on $10 referrals. Literally $3,000. Standing outside of UWM with my cards, wherever traffic was. Standing outside of Marquette with my referral cards. Again, Poshlist, Craigslist. Extra side hustles, side gigs, think about them because they're super important. In fact, I think the key to financial freedom and actually finding your way would be side hustles. That's going to help you get in extra income. And then leveraging your social media with these referrals and what you have. So it may not be referring for another company. Maybe you're referring them to your product. Maybe you have a hat or a shirt or something that's dope. Think about that in terms of this too. You don't have to use these to promote other people's companies. You can use this to promote your vision and your mission and the things you already do. So, you know, leverage your social media. Understand, Facebook ain't just for posting. There's Facebook stories, Facebook pages, Facebook groups, Facebook marketplace. Understand, Instagram ain't just for photos. There's Instagram posts, stories, Instagram DMs. These are all ways that you can market and promote what you have to offer to the world on a regular basis. And then they have apps that help you streamline that. So Buffer, I didn't put it up here, but Hootsuite, which will basically, they're social media management apps where you can put in your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all in one place, post something, and it goes everywhere. Streamline it so it's easier for you to promote your business rather than, you know, going to each one of these every day. You feel me? You got to come up with a system that works for you. If you have a product and you're not promoting it, what good is it? I have a Shopify right now, I ain't making no money. I'm about to close it. Because why? I done spent the whole month not promoting this shit. But it seems like every time I promote it, I get a little money. So I have to hold myself accountable and say, Gideon, where are you wasting your time? Where are you wasting your money? And that's what you guys got to kind of do, is just do a huge self-evaluation of yourself.